Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your friend CL King coming to you live from the High Definition Studios here in Impactville. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sitting atop of the Ruth E. Plowden legacy chair. My foster mom, who single-handedly rescued me from a life of despair. Of course, you'll hear about her in my upcoming book, Impacting Life 24/7. The Umbrella LLC is going to help us launch Who Ate My Brownie? No matter the adversity, you still can make it. It's Open Mic Monday. What y'all got on your mind? You can do a couple things if you want to participate. You can call in 252-622-2561 and just give us a few moments of what's on your mind here. We'd love to hear from you. And if you don't want to call in, you can always comment in the chat what is on your mind. We thoroughly enjoy and appreciate this platform that God has given us, the opportunity to impact lives all across the country. Man, it's so cool to be able to do this. Man, it's like, hey, this is a blessing. Of course, the music by the maestro. What's up, VP? He's back. Yeah, Greg Smith. He's been on the road. We're so glad you're back, VP. We certainly missed you. And you are truly a national resource. I had to do like Mr. Miyagi and catch this fly. So tonight is Open Mic Monday. You got something on your mind? I do, but I will let you have the floor for a few minutes. All you got to do is call in 252-622-2561, and we can get this conversation started. That's what we do on Open Mic Monday. We just let our hair down a little bit and enjoy adult conversations. And they don't have to be adult conversations, but they are conversations amongst adults. You know, some young people that want to call in, they can call in too. 252-622-2561. Here we are at Impacting Life 24/7. And we like to say hello to our live audience. I put that on repeat, y'all. We like to say hello to our live audience that tunes in, as well as our podcast audience. All of you out there on Podbean, we really appreciate you being a part of what we're doing here at Impacting Life 24/7. If it was not for you, we would not make it. Okay, you understand? If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't make it. And I really mean that. You know, we have had the privilege of being able to do so many different things, so many things that you know, we didn't believe that this was going to go this far. Way back in 3 years ago, we didn't believe that we'd get over 200 guests and we're working on 300 episodes now, and having amazing equipment to be able to make your voice sound cool like that. Look at that. Look at the amazing equipment that we have. I can sound like a radio announcer. Get your card today for $19.95 a month. Yeah, man, you know, so Impacting Life 24/7 LLC, co-owned by Greg Smith, Mike Black, and yours truly, CL King. So if you got a topic that you would like to discuss, you can call in 252-622-2561. It's 30 minutes of quick conversation, ladies and gentlemen, or you can put it in the chat. We'll bring it up here live. And Greg has already got something in the chat. He says, deep, but this new abortion change, save babies, kill adults. And so his second part is, should we abolish the death penalty? Well, I have dealt with the pro-life versus pro-choice in a long live post that I did, I believe, on Saturday. And I did make a commitment that I was not going to deal with it again, but I can just tell you this, that it's a very touchy and a very intense conversation. It seems like it really elicits a lot of people's emotions. I know I'm pro-life, but I don't go around chaining myself to abortion clinics. I don't ever claim to have a bomb that I'm going to blow people up. I just believe in prayer. I believe that life starts at conception. Others believe that it's not a life. And so, I have my own thoughts. So I did that live. You got to go back and watch it. I'm going to actually put that on YouTube also. And, the thing about it is that one of the questions that I've had related to that topic since Greg brought it up, that topic is, in 2004, Scott Peterson got double murder charges for killing Lacey Peterson, but he got first-degree murder for killing Lacey Peterson, and he got second-degree murder for the baby that was unborn. And I've always had trouble understanding how a court of law could convict someone of taking a life that was yet born, but so then give me a definition of what that is in her stomach. And that's what I did my whole live on it. I did it very tastefully. I didn't argue. I didn't scream. I didn't fuss. I didn't do any of the things that people can do. But I did a whole hour on it. It was on Saturday. I'll tag you in it, Paula. It was, it was from my heart. And I took the pro-life, pro-choice conversation from a father's perspective. And what I concluded is, and I'm not trying to rehash the whole conversation, but what I concluded is that it's three people involved: a mother, a father, and the child. Mike, we got a call coming in on Impact Life 24/7. Let's see if this works. Hello, you called in to Impact Life 24/7. Who is this?
This is your boy, co-host, Mr. Mike Black.
Hey, what's up, Mike? It's good to hear your voice, man. So we got the trilogy back together. We got Greg, we got Mike, and we got CL King here live at the High Definition Studios. Can you hear me good on your end, Mike?
Roger that. I can hear you great, man.
So I talked about, it's Open Mic Monday, and Greg dropped some heavy ones on us. I said, you can put your topics in there. And of course, I thought he was going to say something like, hey, should we extend summer by three weeks? But no, Greg gives us a heavy 2 questions to start the bat. He said the first question was, this is deep, but this new abortion change, save babies, kill adults. And what I did for the sake of time, Mike, is I said I did a whole live on this topic. And is there a way, let's just ask you, is there a way that we can have this conversation and move forward without strangling each other in the street?
I don't really think so. I think that these two issues are going to be a hot button issue for years to come. Yeah. I don't think that the goal is to solve it. I mean, I think that it's definitely, like I said, it's going to be ongoing. I mean, double back to the show the other night, when we talked about guns, I think it was Danny that said that, we live in a very gun culture in America, and it's it's the reality.
Yeah.
And then the abortion piece, is very, it's a hot button issue politically, and, obviously because it has morals and religious aspects as well. So that's my take.
Well, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to Impact Life 24/7, man. We have Open Mic Monday. You can call in at 252-622-2561. We have on the line with us the man, the myth, and legend, Mike B, up there in New Bern, North Carolina. And I guess the question, because here's what I've done in certain groups that I'm in, Mike. As you know, I frolic around the labyrinth of various groups that are out there, and I inject myself in conversations, 1, for me to learn, and 2, for me to be an authority in places. You know what I'm saying?
I guess. Yes, sir. I got you.
So the question that I would say, I can take religion out of the pro-life and pro-choice conversation. I can take religion out of the pro-life and pro-choice conversation. Did you know I can do that?
I'm all ears. Want to hear this one?
Well, it's very simple, because the reason why I can take the religious piece out of the pro-life and pro-choice discussion is because there are laws on the books that deal with fetal homicide. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, and in fact, there are states, I think it's 38 states, have a fetal homicide law. And 29 states have a fetal homicide law that applies to the earliest stages of pregnancy at any state of gestation. So they have laws on the books, laws, not religion, laws that deal with, like example, Mike, Alabama defines person for the purpose of criminal homicide or assaults to include an unborn child in utero at any stage of development, regardless of the viability and specifics, that nothing in the act shall make it a crime to perform or obtain or abortion that is otherwise legal. So in other words, if you in Alabama, they have a fetal homicide law that if you kill a woman who is pregnant at any stage, it's considered murder.
Okay.
So then my question has been to groups, since Greg brought this up. Thanks, Greg. What is murder? And at what stage is this thing growing in a woman's body a body? And so that's what the conflict for me is that it sounds almost hypocritical to have a fetal homicide law on the books. 38 states have it, but yet we're redefining what a body is, and we're redefining what murder is. I took the whole religious conversation out of it because someone said, should we push our religious views on something that is not illegal?
Okay.
So then I say, let's take religion out of it.
Very well done, Mr. CL. That was very well put. I do have something to add, just as something I thought of, if it's okay.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. So I remember this was years ago. I was in a college course, and someone wrote a paper on abortion, and I don't know the answer to part of it, so I'll rely on you. But so the definition of death is what? And that's the question. The definition of death is what?
The question is what is the definition of death?
What is the definition of death?
Wow. When you no longer live.
When you no longer live. Okay.
Right.
So more specifically, it is when your heart stops beating and they pronounce you dead.
Okay.
You no longer have a heartbeat, right? So if the science and the factual truth is that when you die, you have no heartbeat, then the opposite has to be true, as when you have a heartbeat, you have life.
Yeah, man.
So at what point does a fetus or child have a heartbeat? That's what I don't know. I want to say 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I don't know specifically.
Right.
But I'm sure that someone in the audience would know, or someone in the chat. But that's the rub, is that if the definition of death is when your heart stops and you cease to live,
right, and
the opposite has to be true, that when your heart starts, you have life.
Right. And so that's a great example of we can look at these things, why people believe what they believe, not just because some people say that religion is blind, right? And some people say that, we're just walking in blind faith and we don't follow science, right? So then when I present, like you just did, a scientific thought process, then that's where we struggle with getting the answers. And again, the other thing that I said in my conversation, Mike, was that I recognize that this is a very delicate conversation, in particular because women have said men cannot weigh in on this. But the reason why I had weighed in on it is because I was in the room for the births of my kids, and I saw what life looked like.
I understand.
So anyway, Paula Cousson says, but do these states actually follow these laws? Well, wherever Scott Peterson was convicted, which was, I believe, in Florida, Mike, he got first degree murder for his wife and second degree murder for the unborn child. So that is something. That's a heavy topic. Greg Smith is the one who put it in the chat. His second thing is, should we do away with the death penalty? That was the second question. Why does Greg have to come back from vacation and hit us on Open Mic Monday with such difficult topics?
I think he was probably just being funny and wanted to really stir it up on Open Mic Monday, and he's done a good job of that.
You've done a good job. Very, very controversial topics. And, here's what we do. We don't seek to be controversial, but at the same time, if it necessitates a conversation, we'll have it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So what are the states that have death penalty laws, Chris? Do you happen to know that? I'm going to try to look it up. Anybody in the audience?
I don't know how many states you can look that up if you got quicker than me. I don't know how many states have a death penalty law. The question is, should we abolish the death penalty? And the catch in that statement is, well, you're pro-life for keeping an unborn child, but you're pro-death for someone who has committed, a heinous crime like murder, etc. So how do you reconcile those two?
Well, it says 27 states currently have the federal death penalty. So 27 states. So that's quite a few states that have it. And back to your question is that, how do you reconcile that? My simple take is, you have to base the laws on the crime. Does the punishment fit the crime? I'm not really pro or against, pro or for, you know what I'm saying, or against.
Yeah.
But, I do think that the states, that have that passed it, that's the state law. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, and you know what? If the country feels like that we should go in a different direction, then do the same thing that happened with Roe v. Wade. Vote, get people elected, and get those things overturned. I do believe that there is a difference between when here we go. I had to use a biblical reference, right? When God said, "Thou shalt not kill."
Right.
There's a difference in that word "kill," because it actually gives the understanding of murder. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not take an innocent life. So now that I stepped in the Bible just for a second. I know nobody wants me to use it, so I'll just go back to my secular hat, whatever. Here's what Paula Cusson said. She said, the only one who can judge what we do is God on our judgment day. We don't have the right to say whoever dies. Oh, okay. I like that. Hey, Belinda Tyson Linder. Hey, Mom, how are you? And yes, we only got just a few minutes left, Mike. It's a challenge, right? To say this is something that's been a part of our society for years. And I just read an article. It's funny, Greg, that you bring up the death penalty. Hey, Mike, remind me to screen Greg's questions before we bring him on Open Mic Monday, okay?
Absolutely. Got you covered, buddy. We'll clean up on that effort.
Greg, when we go to see the Panthers play, you're going to pay for the gas and the hotel for these questions. There was a young kid in 1944. I just read the article that popped up online where he was the youngest kid ever to be electrocuted in the electric chair. But 70 years later, they found out that he was innocent.
Wow.
70 years later, this young 14-year-old kid was electrocuted and they found out he was innocent. So my thing is, if you don't have, I don't know, man. I'm going to pass on this one. Paula says we can keep hardened criminals behind bars.
So I do have some thoughts, CEO.
Yeah.
And here's a few thoughts. I'm Googling right now to see how long the average inmate stays on death row.
Yeah, it's like
right?
20-something years, ain't it?
So if it's 20-something years, let's just stick with that. If it's 20-something years, let's make a purely economical argument
Right.
that on average, if it's 20 years that someone stays on death row before they're executed, the taxpayer has to pay on upwards of 40,000. The last statistic was around 40 to 44,000, depending on the state,
A year.
per year to feed, house, clothe an inmate. And so the taxpayer is paying that much money for 20 years, waiting for this person for their execution date. My simple question is, and again, I'm not for or against, is that why does a death row inmate stay on death row so long? And maybe it loops back to what you were saying. They want to make sure that they've proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, or they have appeals and all that. And then it could be a deep conversation. But my point is, is it for an economical reasons?
Yeah.
The taxpayer is paying for these, criminals to stay on death row for 20, 30 years.
Yeah, and that with throughout all the appeals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it can be. So let me ask you this, and this is just something that I thought of, and help us to have a comparison on this argument. Anybody can look up out there and see what is the average time a person spends on death row. So we got the exact numbers. I know we've seen people on there for upwards of 20 plus years. What is the difference? Now think about this. What is the difference if someone breaks into your home that has intention, they're armed and they have full intention of doing lethal bodily harm to your family, and you rise up with your home protection and defend yourself? Why are you not convicted of murder?
Self-defense.
Because you were innocent.
Right.
See, that's the difference. And this is what if we went back to the pro-life, pro-choice debate, I feel like the life is innocent. I'm not a mom. I don't carry babies. I'm not insensitive to how women feel about this, but I do feel that the life is innocent. And a person entering to your home, if you kill them, it's self-defense. So then if they kill you, see, because we've built this in our nation, man. This is something that was built long before we started having this conversation, that there was penalties for certain crimes. And I don't necessarily know if the death penalty is a deterrent. I sometimes kind of wish they could just be locked away in, in hard labor, put them down there in that Arizona camp somewhere, you know what I'm saying, where they're not just in a place chilling, but they got to do hard labor for the rest of their life. The military does it. You get in trouble and you go to the brig, you doing hard labor. You ain't just sitting up in the rack.
Exactly. I concur with that.
So now, Greg, you're not allowed to ask any more follow-up questions on pro-life and pro-choice. Because he says rape and incest. I got the statistics that really shut that argument down, because it's like 0.009% of the reasons why abortions are conducted for rape and incest. The actual largest number, I'm sorry, I did my homework, the largest reason why abortions are conducted is because the mother does not want the child. Statistically, they showed why abortions were taking place, and the number one reason was because the mother did not want the child. Had nothing to do with rape, had nothing to do with incest, but it had everything to do with the inconvenience of the child. Did y'all know that?
Did not, but that's good statistic.
It's a real reality. So and they also have found that it's an extremely, extremely low number of these back alley abortions. Now, here's what we got to realize is that it's not been banned across the country. It's not It's not. It's been returned to the states. Some people feel like it should have been. It should have remained federalized. But I'm just telling you that if the precedent is the act of consummation, I thought about this last night. If the dad got enough to lay up and the mom got enough to lay up, then you got to pay up.
Wow. I like how you on that.
I know that.
You got to lay up. You got to pay up.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that sounds a bit calloused, but right. you rolling with, and again, when you look at the statistics on incest and rape, those occurrences are extremely low. But let's just ask this: my dad, when my mother was 9 months pregnant with me, he beat her with crutches and threw her down the stairs. Wow. So if something had have happened to me in the womb, did I deserve a chance to live? Even though even though a violent act had taken place against me and my dad didn't even have anything to do with me in life, did that still eliminate me from the prospect of having a chance to fulfill my purpose? Because if we believe that everyone has a purpose, then it doesn't matter how we are conceived. It matters how we live.
Powerful.
I know the church getting quiet on me, but I know. And listen, I didn't bring these topics up on Open Mic Monday. I was hoping we was going to talk about the NBA Finals or something else.
Or the birds or something.
You know what I mean? And Greg brings the most controversial topics ever. Greg.
All future questions will be directed to Slack and pre-approved by either the co-host or the host of this show.
Greg, you're fired again. And you just got back in town.
You better be doing push-ups over there, mister.
So, anyway, here we are. I guess we can close the show out because we only have 2 minutes. Okay. And man, I didn't think you was going to be on the whole time. I'm sorry. I've held you up, Black.
That's okay.
But
happy to be here.
You're a natural, man. How do we, now this is almost like the gun debate, right? We had a 2 hour and 45-minute discussion on how to make our kids safe. And some of the ideas that we brought forward were long-term 10, 15-year plans. Those ideas will not go into effect today. Changing the cultures and changing family dynamics and all those types of things, those are kind of like what they are. So then I said, so what's the short-term plan for getting our kids safe? We need a realistic short-term plan. And when we had to narrow that down, it's like, okay, well, there's something that we have to do. What is it that we can do in the short term to unify our country? Because I just see like we have had a series of things that, some people say, oh, we got more in common than we have. There's more that unites us than divides us. Do you really feel that way?
I just wish that Americans would be as upset about the gun violence as they are about the gas prices. How about that? We always tend to do what? Focus on what's affecting us directly.
Right.
And gas prices, the gas prices are so bad, it's like we're all on house arrest. Can't go nowhere.
We're back on lockdown.
So we had COVID with lockdown because the boogie monster is going to jump out and get us. Then we're on house arrest because we can't afford gas to go nowhere.
Man, look, bro, I went to, I got a riding lawnmower finally, Black. So, I'm no longer do I have to, okay. And I went out there and I'm like, dog, I got to put gas in this thing. So I had to go siphon some gas out of my Chevy Cruze. Jeremiah King says, do you think inflation will go down in the next year? Here's what I can tell you about inflation. Inflation is affecting more than just one dynamic. Gas, it's all perpetual. In other words, the gas prices are up, the food prices are up, the labor prices are up, the car prices are up, housing prices are up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we have to be wise in our approach to the ebbs and flows of what goes on in the overall GDP market. Like, in other words, we can't get too high and we can't get too low. We can't spend all of our money that we're saving for tomorrow, and we can't act like we got to dig a ditch somewhere and never come out. You understand? Like, here's my example, the toilet paper thing, right? How did we run out of toilet paper because of a viral disease? It had nothing to do with your rear end.
It had everything to do with your rear end, because everybody was at home and everybody was eating and everybody was remodeling.
Okay, there you go. Okay, there you go. Okay, all right, Mike, you got a good rebuttal there. Okay, you won that one.
You had to go and buy a bunch of toilet paper, and then on top of that, when there's a hurricane, there's an emergency.
Yeah.
What do? They go and stock up. Then they say, "Oh, you're limited to six rolls. Get out of here."
Well, okay. So, but let me ask you this, Mike. Let's say I just did this because you and I both in our backgrounds are both supply chain experts.
Yeah.
And I did it in my mind that I wonder if we hadn't have went and purchased the toilet paper out of cycle and just continued to purchase it in our normal cycle, would we have seen such a mass crisis?
I would say no, but again, you have to think. Parents were home, children were home, so you were actually going to the bathroom more than you did before, because you were at school or you was at work.
That's good.
And
That's
so
a good
you
point.
were going to the bathroom more because everyone's home. All the kids were home. I mean, how many times did people call up and you could hear the kids in the background? And they're home all the time. Like, geez, can you go to school? And everybody's learning virtually, and everybody was stressed out.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And then everybody was getting sick and had the runs all the time from COVID. So yes, I do believe in this. Is the economy is elastic, Jeremiah, and so there are constant ebbs and flows. Greg says he just lost $17,000 in his 401k. And my mentor, who told me about my savings and retirement plans, he said, you got to swear off of it. So in other words, put it in there and be diligent not to mess with it. And, sometimes I believe that's very, very wise. And in other times, I believe you need to at least shift your assets so you don't lose them.
Yeah, that's definitely debatable. We can talk about that in the next. We're 5 minutes over, but I keep going if you'd like to.
No, I know you got stuff to do. But Greg says, but wouldn't you have to use the bathroom as normal 3 times a day? No, because we were stress eating.
Exactly.
Right. We were stress eating. We were binge eating. We were partying more in the house. And I believe that contributed to the uptick in the need for the need for that corrective material that everybody bought off the shelves. So anyway, this has been an interesting what do you call?
How do we end up here from the first 2 serious topics?
We ended the show on toilet paper. So anyway, Mike, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for tuning in with me, man, and joining me. I know you're not here live, but maybe the next show that we do tomorrow, if you want to hop on, we'll love to have you. That's what we do here at Impacting Life, though. We're very flexible. Our staff is flexible. We do it when we can, and when we can't, we don't. It's just that simple. So anyway, peace out, Mike. We'll talk to you later, brother.
Have a good one. Night, everybody.
Thanks, man. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Oh, look at that transition, y'all. That was smooth. Impacting Life 24/7. Sorry for going 5 minutes over, but Greg put us on the spot with some amazing topics for the evening. And appreciate you, Paula. Thank you all for Jeremiah, my son, the fisherman, the angler, tuned in. Yeah, we got to get inflation under control. And I do believe that we need some short-term fixes on the gas prices. Tell you, enough blaming Vladimir and, all these other kind of stuff, because it is causing people to augment their behaviors in a way that is going to affect their futures. So join us back here, right here on Impacting Life 24/7 with your host, CL King, and of course, Mike B. Greg Smith, the man, the myth, the legend, right behind the wheels of steel. He's the man behind the curtain that you can't see. But the three of us make up Impacting Life 24/7 LLC. And if you would like to be a part of what we're doing and you want to become a sponsor, like the great Miss Paula Cusone has been a sponsor for quite some time now, just go to clkingspeaker.com, scroll down to the bottom, and it'll show you very easy and conveniently how you can join us on this mission, man. We are just pushing forward. The book, as soon as I hang up from here, guys, I'm back on the computer right in front of me, typing away, okay? I'll explain more about the book tomorrow, but it is a work in progress, and it is unearthing something in me that I didn't know I had. So anyway, on behalf of Greg Smith, Mike Black, CL King, and of course, all of our sponsors, we say help us, join with us to continue to impact one life, one day at a time. Until next time, we'll see you on Impacting Life 24/7.